Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of e-commerce email marketing tips and tactics with Kevin. And you guessed it, I'm Kevin.
Kevin. Where's Kevin? Kevin. K-E-V.
So you finally decided that it's time to start using email to increase conversion, build your brand ambassadors, and increase your customer lifetime value. But what email service provider do you pick? I mean, there's so many. There's GetResponse, iContact, Constant Contact, Aweber, Klaviyo, MailChimp, and the list goes on. There's just so many out there. How do we decide? Now, when you're picking, you're going to have to consider what you want your email service provider or your ESP to actually do for you. So what kind of features does it have? You're going to want it to have smart automations, which are going to allow certain things, certain triggers or certain customer behaviors to change the sequence or send them different messages. So if someone clicks or makes a purchase, you don't want to send them the rest of that series because that was the whole point of the series, things of that nature. So you're going to want to make sure that they have smart automations. You're going to want to make sure that their data integration is A1, so all of the information from your store, your Shopify, WooCommerce, whatever e-commerce platform you're using integrates so that you get all of your data in one place. You're going to want to make sure they have a strong template editor that is going to make it fairly simple and straightforward for you to design these emails. Now, you don't have to get super creative or super complex with them, but if you do want to get a little creative with them, you're going to have to make sure that your ESP can support that. You're going to want to make sure they have A/B testing so that you can split test and try different subject lines or maybe different content within your emails and then see the results of that so you can figure out which is your best approach. You're going to want to make sure that it tracks your customer behavior or creates profiles for them so you'll figure out what they've been sent, what their lifetime value is, how long they've been on your list, how often they open, things of that nature. So when you're making decisions about how to segment or what to try next in your list, you have all of the information so you can make a truly educated guess on where to go from here. Now, another thing that is going to be super important for which ESP you pick is you're going to want to make sure that they have a quality support system. So if anything goes wrong, you're having any trouble, any issues, you can get some help within a timely fashion. Maybe it's just me, but I've tried things before in the past where it takes them a day, 2 days, 3 days to get back to you. And by then you've kind of missed the window that you're trying to operate in, and it's super frustrating, to be honest. So you want to make sure that they have a quality support, hopefully a phone number that you can physically call them or a live chat so you can speak to someone in real time or within a reasonable amount of time. Now you might be asking yourself, what email service provider is going to give me all of that, or what do I recommend? So me personally, I exclusively use Klaviyo. It is number one in my books. It covers everything that we talked about plus more. The user experience is great. It's simple and straightforward. There are preset templates and series so that you don't have to be a genius to start getting a little creative with some of the email sequences that you start sending out. It also has its own library of pre-built themes that are beautifully designed that you can just plug and play your own information and switch out your logos and images or things of that nature that you can hit the ground running with, as well as a very simple, straightforward template editor that works amazingly to create visually appealing emails. When I first started, I kind of had the idea that I would play around a little bit and perhaps use whatever the client already had. And that just didn't end up being realistic in terms of being able to deliver a certain level of expertise for my clients in managing their emails with whatever platform we decided on. So when I did a little bit of research, I really like Klaviyo because it's built for e-commerce. Now, some of the other ESPs I mentioned have a lot of features that they've added on that give it the functionality to be able to handle e-commerce, but why settle for an imitation when you can get the real thing? Klaviyo was built for e-commerce. The entire way it's structured, the way it imports all of your data, the way it displays all of your analytics and all of your information. Even just on the dashboard, it gives you a complete summary of sales for the month, how much of those sales have come from email, how much of those sales have come from automation, how much of those sales have come from manual campaigns that you delivered. And I believe it shows the top 8 flows that you're currently running, as well as your top 5 manual campaigns, or the most recent 5 manual campaigns, all from the dashboard. Another great feature Klaviyo has is its coupon creation. It allows you to create dynamic coupons that you can set to only last for a certain period of time and still gives you the functionality to add a minimum purchase amount, everything like that, and integrates with whatever sales platform you're using. So let's say you're using Shopify. from your Klaviyo account, you can create a coupon that is, when the customer uses it, it's going to generate a unique code for them, and it's going to automatically create itself in the back end of your Shopify, apply the discount that you set it to apply, and then still disappear when you set it to expire. I cannot sing its praises enough. Klaviyo has been the one-stop shop for me, and their support is excellent. I actually haven't used the phone support. I do all of my support through email with them, but they respond in such a timely manner that it's a non-issue, and I've never had an issue with them I haven't been able to resolve. They usually directly answer the question as well as point you to the documentation to add a little bit of background to whatever it is you're trying to figure out. It stands far above all of the rest of them when it comes to handling emails for e-commerce businesses. So if you're looking for something that has a great user experience, has all the features that you're going to need, is going to help you stop leaving money on the table, I highly recommend you check out Klaviyo. Now, if there is one drawback for Klaviyo, it's that it's honestly on a little bit more expensive side of some of the email service providers that I've mentioned, but it is well worth what you're paying for. They actually charge based on the number of emails in your account. So if you're actively cleaning your list and getting rid of all the people who aren't responding, aren't opening, and aren't adding any value to your business, then you should be able to keep it in a reasonable range. And again, it's a non-issue if you're actively running your store and doing a decent amount of profit. So that's not something I would really allow to hold you back unless you're super brand new and you have a huge list to start off with, or you know a significant amount of your list is stale and probably not going to respond to the emails that you're sending out. Then I would probably recommend that you focus on re-engagement really early in your campaigns so that you can start to weed out the people who probably are not going to answer, and then you only have to end up with maybe a month, maybe two of that higher price where you can kind of chop your list in half or figure out who's who and then clean the list as much as possible so that you can bring it back down to a more manageable amount. So that's it for this video, guys. What I'm going to do as we continue to move forward is I'm going to go over what I consider, or what I call, the foundational 5 flows. Now, a flow is the same thing as an automation or an autoresponder. These are those smart automations I was mentioning before that I believe every business should have, and the top 5 would be an abandoned cart sequence, a browse abandoned sequence, a win back or re-engagement sequence, a multi-buyer / VIP sequence, and a welcome series. If you're running an e-commerce business, these 5 flows are something you should always have running. When it comes to client accounts, they tend to generate the majority of the automated flow income. Now, you can get creative and add upsell flows and product specific flows and other creative segmentations or flows for your account, but these 5 tend to bring in most of the bank when it comes to reoccurring income within your store. The bonus that I would do also is a new customer welcome. That's also a very effective flow. These 5 or 6 automated flows are what I would consider the foundation for any e-commerce business. If you're going to be emailing your list, you need these 5 flows running at all times to make sure that you're capturing as much of that revenue as possible. To avoid talking off your ear, I'm not going to go into that right now. I will create specific videos for each of those so we can get into some detail on what they are and show you guys some examples. I will go over the shoulder so you can go into the computer with me and see really what I'm talking about, but that is all for another video. Guys, this has been Kevin, and it's definitely time that you put email at the top of your list. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you on the other side.
Kevin. 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 Where's Kevin? Kevin. Kevin. K-E-V. Kevin. 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 Kevin.